I'm going to try to do something quite different because I have come from a different world, meaning the Sahara Desert. I left Sahara Desert a couple of days ago and found my way to Lagos, where I caught a flight that got me into London yesterday. And when I left the Sahara Desert, the temperature was somewhere between 140 and 150 degrees Fahrenheit. I thought I was going to bring a bit of sunshine with me, but somewhere between the Mediterranean and Spain, there was a big storm, and that took away the whole of the sunshine I was bringing with me. My presentation is going to focus on major things, such as the drought and famine that we have in Africa today, the hunger and disease, and poverty and unemployment, all caused by desertification. I work in an area that borders the Sahara Desert, about 16 countries, and we're talking of a population of over 600 million people that live on the fringes of the Sahara Desert that have been affected so badly by desertification. The problem of Europe today, from what I have, not just Europe, the developed world, is coping with living longer, because people now live to their, in their 80s and 90s. Whereas in Africa, the life expectancy for women is 50 and men 55. All because of some of the problems that I'm going to enumerate in my paper. I will also try to draw a parallel between the underdevelopment of Africa and desertification, because in the last 42 years, I have made numerous expeditions across the Sahara Desert, trying to find solutions and the best way to handle the issues that I mentioned earlier. It's only the continent of Europe that you don't have, of all the continents of the world, it's only the continent of Europe that you don't have any desert. But I can tell you it's not going to be too long before you have a bit of it, because right now in Spain, during my last drive across most of Spain, I saw the effect that the Sahara Desert is having. I can tell you that in the 60s, for instance, Nigeria had 57% forest cover. Well, by 2009, the last information that we got from United Nations is that Nigeria has less than 5% forest cover, all due to desertification. Most of the conflicts that we have in Africa today, 14 of them, have come as a result of migration. People leaving the desert areas of the continent, moving to greener pastures, and in the process, entering into other people's lands. The underground water resources that most of the African people depend on have been completely depleted. Of course, there is now food insecurity. We are told by Food and Agricultural Organization that there's going to be 25% less food production in the entire African continent in the next year or so. So following my expeditions across the Sahara Desert, which of course started in the 60s, we in FREdome have conducted researches. And in that research, we stumbled into plans that were made by the founding fathers of Africa in the 60s, led by Abdul Nasser, Kwame Nkrumah, Haile Selassie, and Sékou Touré. They got together in a summit in Lagos in April 1964 and decided that the development of Africa was going to be meaningless unless the Sahara Desert was tamed. This was in 1964. Today, the Sahara Desert is still active, and it's still encroaching into so many countries, 16 countries bordering it. It was also during this research that we found out that the solution they preferred at that time in 1964 was to build a Trans-Saharan Highway, 9 of them, that will help in taming the Sahara Desert. I can tell you, like as I speak now, most of those highways have not been built. In fact, my last book, which I have written, Bridging the Desert, which I will present to this body, was mainly revealing most of the plans that were put in place in the 60s by the African countries, by the founding fathers of Africa. So the good news, now is that the United Nations have created a convention known as UNCCG to combat desertification. This was done about 20 years ago, based in Bonn, Germany. And we in FREd have been in consultation with UNCCG, and we are working together to see how we can accelerate the whole process of recovering the desert from the encroaching process that is taking place. Contrary to some beliefs, in some quarters, the impact of the spreading Sahara Desert is global. They include increased adverse weather conditions, like the hurricane and tornadoes that we are experiencing all over the world today, flooding as well. Warming of the Arctic by warm ocean currents, leading to melting of the Arctic's ice and rise in sea levels. It's also part of what is skyrocketing food prices arising from damage or lean harvest. Famine, child immortality, poverty, and grabbing of all sorts of things. To conclude, therefore, the countries bordering the Sahara Desert cannot afford to ignore the advancing desert. It is now a full-blown crisis. The global community, especially the Mediterranean countries, need to be part of the solution, as the effect of climate change knows no boundaries. We must find ways to halt the spread of the Sahara, tame it, and exploit it. When I say exploit it, because there are numerous resources that abound in the desert. And that is why it is crucial to build the Trans-Saharan Highway that I mentioned earlier on. Thank you very much.